Welcome to News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss. Here now the news for May 22nd, 2020. In an interview with CNBC yesterday, Mayor Deming stated that Disney will submit reopening plans for its theme parks next week. Based on the mayor's description of the timeline, a submission of plans does not necessarily entail a public announcement nor an approval, meaning that we may have to wait over a week for the official announcement. At this time, all Walt Disney World Resort hotels and theme parks remain closed. Disney Springs, of course, began its phased reopening on Wednesday with third-party restaurants and stores at limited capacity. Starting on May 27th, Disney-owned shops and eateries will also reopen at Disney Springs under the new guidelines. All guests are required to undergo temperature screenings, and masks are mandatory for all guests over the age of 3. New images from our favorite aerial parks photographer BioReconstruct on Twitter show some interesting developments on the ground at Epcot with regard to the disrupted Flower and Garden Festival. While maintenance and landscaping continues throughout the property thanks to the work of essential cast members, the festival's iconic flower beds and character topiaries, as well as this year's new Butterfly House location, have been pulled down. The Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival was originally set to last through June 1st before Walt Disney World Resort came to a full close on March 16th due to the health crisis. Considering the current calendar for Walt Disney World, where the earliest the resort is accepting new reservations is starting on July 1st, and with existing reservations canceled through June 13th, this furthers the notion that the festival has come to an early end, cut short due to the COVID-19 shutdown. Very interesting. Obviously, this never happened before. A lot of firsts with this closure, but kind of the year almost without a flower and garden festival. We had, 10 days of it? I don't remember what the starting date was, but early March. Another sign of Walt Disney World beginning to resume operations may be at the Magic Kingdom, where construction is rebooting on TRON Light Cycle Run. A WDWNT reader informed us that workers were active on the site when they drove by, meaning that construction activity may be resuming at the parks. Reportedly, there have been multiple trucks hauling in items near the site of the future attraction, with security present spotted while driving past the Magic Kingdom. Those are public roads. Some people use those to go home if they live north of the Magic Kingdom. Construction at Walt Disney World's theme parks was effectively placed on an indefinite pause during the pandemic. With the reopening of Disney Springs beginning this week and Universal Orlando preparing to reopen its theme parks very soon, Walt Disney World theme parks may not be far behind. And of course, construction may very well be returning to activity all over the resort now. Does make sense. Disney has issued an official email notification indicating that reservations through June 13th are now canceled. Walt Disney World Resort guests with resort hotel bookings for the week of June 7th through the 13th are receiving those notifications that their stays will be impacted by temporary closures and that they may modify or cancel their reservations or Walt Disney Company travel packages. Cancellations may continue to occur on a week-by-week basis as the closure continues. Walt Disney World has now removed park hours as well through June 13th on their website, as well as the My Disney Experience app. The Disney parks may be closed, but one lucky passerby caught a glimpse of both monorail coral and monorail silver making the rounds along their lines. Monorails and a number of other pieces of machinery across property must be run regularly for maintenance and upkeep, and it's unconfirmed whether this may be related to preparations for an upcoming reopening. The Boathouse at Disney Springs reopened on Wednesday along with the long lineup of other third-party restaurants and retailers. With this reopening, we figured we'd cover the logistics of eating at a Disney restaurant in the post-COVID world. The restaurant opened at 11 a.m. along with the Boathouse Boutique. All reservations are guaranteed inside seating. At this time, inside dining rooms are being seated at 25% capacity, so reservations will be limited. Reservations can be made via Open Table or by calling the Boathouse at 407-939-2628. The tables with a black tablecloth were not being used. If they have a white tablecloth, they're okay for guests to dine at. The black-white tablecloth system was in place throughout the restaurant's many dining rooms, and in sections with booth seating, plexiglass dividers were set up to keep each party separate. If you're unable to get a reservation, walk-in parties are accepted for outdoor seating. Thankfully, the restaurant has a large patio and will be following the CDC guidelines with regards to table spacing. Boathouse was among one of the main restaurants to reopen with a significantly changed menu as well. All the menus were printed out on paper. I mean, they always were at the Boathouse, but some restaurants with more permanent menus are doing the same. They just printed them out. The amphicars have remained closed, unfortunately, since Wednesday. We're not sure when they're going to come back, but regardless, new social distancing markers have also been placed around the dock, so when they do reopen again, Guests can safely experience the excitement of seeing these Amphicars taking a drive off into the water. We're trying to do it. It's discounted because you can't put as many people in it anymore, but I'm trying to get one. We stopped in for lunch at the Play Pig yesterday to check out their new setup as well as to try out 2 new menu items. As you approach the restaurant, floor markings outline proper social distancing guidelines, and a scannable QR code allows guests to view a digital menu on their phones. Of course, the large display menu is still available to view near the registers. Paper menus are also available, but not on the day we went, but they said they do have them most of the time. Outside, a display shows the menu as well. Markers continue along the queue to order. Plexiglass dividers are up at the registers, and unfortunately for the time being, there'll be no giant half-pound chocolate chip cookies from Gideon's Bakery due to the bakery currently still limiting production. It's very sad. Bar seating along the windows is marked as reserved, with signs telling guests not to sit there due to social distancing. Unfortunately, the popular sauce bar is also out of commission, but servers can still get you any of the sauces you'd like. Guests are welcome to pick out whatever table they like to sit at, so long as it doesn't have a social distancing sign on it. Refills are also available as normal. All Polite Pig employees wear branded face masks, and if you'd like one of your own, you could purchase one for $12.50. We tried 2 of the new menu items, the spiced pork rinds with pimento cheese dip for $9, and the chef's special, the shrimp and grits for $22. Overall, we had a great filling meal at the Play Pig, and we can't wait to pig out here again with our hand sanitizer with us, of course. Check out the full review at WDWNT.com. The Starbucks, located on Disney Springs' west side, reopened on Thursday. Social distancing floor markers have been placed outside of the entrances to this location, and a dedicated one-way entrance and exit has been established. Paper menus are printed off and waiting for guests as they enter the queue line. Only food items are listed on these, though. The drink selections remain on the overhead boards behind the counter. Queue line is still set up like normal with the markers in place, but currently Starbucks team members are taking orders for guests as they enter. Guests have no access to the merchandise or other prepackaged food items. A team member would have to retrieve those for you. Taped off social distance markers are placed between you and a team member while they take your order. They will then take your payment method to the counter where they tell the baristas your order and then bring back your receipt. We paid for our drink through the mobile app, so the team member took our phone up to the scanner and then brought it back to us. Of course, he was wearing gloves when he did so, and then discarded those gloves once our phone was back in our possession, so no cross-contamination could occur. Once you've paid, you're asked to wait outside until your drink is brought out to you. Since soap and hygiene items have been in high demand during the pandemic, we were especially excited to hear that Basin would be reopening in the marketplace. The bath bombs on sale in the store are still there. They're still displayed unwrapped, so no changes have been made since the store closed. While it's good that Basin is cutting down on single-use plastics to wrap their products, some guests may feel uncomfortable with the open displays. It is worth noting that bags are provided next to the displays for guests intending on buying a product. The soaps in the store are still sold pre-packaged. Basin is well known for offering a selection of products for guests to sample at the sinks in the center of the store. All the sinks were available for use without guests having to keep one free between them for social distancing. Both samples of soap and scrubs were out, available for guests to try. Wooden sticks are available to scoop up the scrubs for one-time use. Basin branded hand sanitizer was also available. It's $20 for a 3-pack of 2-ounce bottles and $10 for a 3-pack of 1-ounce bottles. Erafile, formerly known as Characters in Flight, the balloon ride at Disney Springs, has reopened today with modifications. The flights are dependent on weather, so if conditions are too windy, of course, they cannot run tours. However, conditions were perfect as the afternoon wore on today. Here's how this now works in this social distancing world. Markers are set up throughout the basket of the balloon, and if the flight is full, all guests must remain in designated spots throughout the duration of the flight. If there are spots to move around without encroaching on the next guest, then you are free to do so. Currently, Erafile is working on testing out different things to provide the best experience for guests in light of the new guidelines. They may try having the entire set of guests rotate in tandem so they all get a 360-degree view, but because some people are nervous about moving once they're up there, that may not work in every case. They're going to try things in the coming day to see what works and what doesn't. Prices for the flights are $20 for adults, $15 for children ages 3 to 9. Children under the age of 3 can ride for free. The flights are wheelchair accessible, but those in ECVs must transfer. Sephora has announced that their Disney Springs location will be reopening on Friday, May 29th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Given the nature of Sephora stores of offering makeup samples, allowing guests to test out a variety of products, and for makeovers to occur within, it'll be interesting to see exactly how Sephora adjusts their operations with the new social distancing and other safety measures in place. The outside of Sephora is already prepared with those markings on the ground that every single store and restaurant has. And although disposable makeup applicators are normally spread throughout the store for guests to try a variety of liquid products, will the same be offered for powdered makeup? Who knows? Sephora may set the precedent for how other makeup locations at Disney Springs like MAC Cosmetics and Origins operate when they come back as well. To commemorate the reopening on Wednesday, the newly appointed chairman of Disney Parks, Josh D'Amaro, was out and about Wednesday morning to help greet guests and ensure everything was running smoothly. D'Amaro was pleasantly greeting guests in the town center and posing for socially distanced photos with them. Joining D'Amaro was the newly appointed president of the Walt Disney World Resort, Jeff Vail. Signage encouraging social distancing has been installed across Disney Springs, and the officials are ensuring that they comply with the new rules. It was nice to see them out, though. Although Marvel's Black Widow movie has been delayed, we're still lucky enough to snag some merchandise featuring the deadly assassin herself while we wait for the film to come out on November 6th. The limited edition Magic Band featuring Natasha Romanoff as the Black Widow with the Black Widow movie title printed above her was available on Shop Disney. The artwork is similar to that on the first theatrical release poster for the film, which was meant to debut on May 1st. The Magic Band is a limited edition of 1,500 pieces and replaces the cartoon-style artwork of the previous Black Widow Magic Band released 3 years ago. The Magic Band 2 limited edition retails for $34.99. It's worth noting it's sold out on Shop Disney, but these may very well be at the park or the Walt Disney World theme parks or Disney Springs in the coming weeks. Disneyland Resort has released an update regarding their resort operations with no reopening date reported at this time. The update said that upon reopening, certain Disneyland Resort theme parks, hotels, restaurants, and other locations may be limited in capacity and subject to restricted availability or even closure based on guidance from health experts and government officials. Certain attractions, experiences, services, and amenities will be modified, have limited availability, or remain closed. Park admission and offering will not be guaranteed, and Disneyland Resort has been closed, as you know, since March 14th, including Disneyland Park, Disney California Adventure, and Downtown Disney. The Tokyo Disney Resort has pushed an update to its map on the official application, the first in months. And in it, we can see most of the projects completed since the park's closure. New features such as the completed main entrance of Tokyo Disneyland, updated new Fantasyland bypass, and completion of the Cinderella Castle construction are all presented on the updated map. The new main entrance featuring both sides of the plaza as well as the completed interior are visible. Close to World Bazaar, there are two squares that will reportedly be used for character greetings in the entrance plaza. At the center of it all sits Cinderella Castle, fully restored after her 6-month-long refurbishment. Over in New Fantasyland, the map finally recognizes the path next to Tomorrowland Terrace being reopened. The attractions and restaurants in the expansion, like the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast, still aren't on the map, though. The Tokyo Disney Resort official app also had some other changes, most notably, of course, before it was presented in only Japanese and available only in Japan. Yet now, in the latest update, they now have some limited English functionality. Several important options like e-ticketing, reservations for restaurants, hotels, and vacation packages, Disney Photo, and Tokyo Disney Resort shopping are all missing from the English version, but it does provide some of the essentials like wait times, show lottery, schedules, and blurbs about attractions in English. Digital Fast Pass Essential for a successful visit to Tokyo Disneyland or Disney Sea is also included. If you live in Japan or enjoy having functionalities like restaurant reservations or e-ticketing, you could easily return the Tokyo Disney Resort app to the Japanese version without switching your phone's language. By opening the Settings app, clicking on the Tokyo Disney Resort app and selecting language, and then selecting Japanese, you can switch it back. The next limited edition Disney Parks pin drop is a new set celebrating the 65th anniversary of my personal favorite Disney animated film, Lady and the Tramp, featuring cameo portraits of the two titular characters as well as a family portrait, including Annette, Colette, Danielle, and of course, Scamp. 3 other pins will be also available, showcasing other scenes and characters, including Tramp and his fellow street mutts, Lady's purebred companions, and a sweet scene of Tramp sharing a dinner with his sweetheart. These 3 pins also feature a dog collar accent honoring the anniversary celebration. It'll be interesting to see if these pins also come to the parks, but at the very least, on May 27th, on May 28th, you'll find all of these available at shopdisney.com at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. Have your bots ready. Yesterday marked a historic event in the theme park history albeit not for one we usually cover here at this Disney Parks website. Universal Orlando Resort has presented its reopening plans before the Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force Group and is the first to do so, doing so ahead of Walt Disney World and SeaWorld. Universal Orlando plans to reopen its theme parks on June 5th to the public, with soft openings for team members on June 1st and 2nd, and then on June 3rd and 4th, invited guests, namely annual pass holders, will be granted access. This plan enables them to reopen just in time for the 30th anniversary of Universal Studios Florida on June 7th. Universal will implement a system of 3 S's, the screening, sanitization, and spacing. They'll provide one free disposable face covering to guests who did not bring their own. Face masks will be available for sale. Play areas will remain closed. 3D glasses will be handed out individually. There will also be a reduction and or elimination of water and mist elements throughout the park. At dining locations, menus will be converted to single use with individually packaged condiments and pre-wrapped silverware. No buffets or self-serve options in restaurants will be available. Mobile food ordering will be enabled for direct-to-table seating and food delivery. Contactless payments will be encouraged through various methods. Volcano Bay will also be moving forward with the reopening now that the CDC has stated that well-maintained pools using chlorine and bromine are known to inactivate the virus. Ride vehicles, rafts, and life vests will be continuously cleaned. The number of tubes in the lazy river and life vests will be reduced. For rafts, the number of guests will be reduced to the size of the party with no grouping of unfamiliar parties. This just sounds like a great way to go to a water park. Obviously not a fan of pandemics, but this sounds like a really pleasant theme park, not necessarily regular theme park experience, but water park. I'm really on board with this, I gotta say. Lounge chairs will be placed in clusters to support travel party seating, with each cluster separated by 6 feet. Virtual lines will be used at the highly attended attractions, with single rider eliminated. Attraction queues will be modified with social distancing signage. All turnstiles will have distancing and spacing for queuing with a reduced turnstile count. And during the phased reopening, every other locker bank will be disabled, and team members will monitor guest access to the locker area. Post-show meet and greets with characters will be eliminated, and performers are to remain on stage for pictures. Parades will not run during the phased reopening, but once they return, float performers must remain on their units at all times. Brochure racks for maps will be eliminated, with team members handing out maps and notices individually. For a recap of what the current experience is like at Universal Orlando City Walk, including temperature checks and the new social distancing guidelines, you can check out WDWNT.com. Of course, we also still have all of our coverage from the Disney Springs reopening on Wednesday. For more information on these stories and more, head on over to WDWNT.com. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video, subscribe to WDW News Today on YouTube for more great content, and click the bell for notifications. Make sure to hit select all notifications so you never miss an episode of News Today with WDW News Today. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Stay safe, everybody.
Dreamfinders is WDW News Today's podcast all about the creative culture surrounding Disney parks. Authors, Imagineers, dancers, actors, photographers, filmmakers, and a whole lot more have all stopped by to chat about how Disney has inspired their artistic work.
But I still remember sitting in conference tables and looking across at Michael and Jeffrey Katzenberg and this sort of little 6-year-old inside of me going, what in heaven's name is going on here?
And we're off and running, and Tony needs someone to lay it out for him. And there's no architect available. So the next thing I know, I'm laying out the pavilion.
I got to tell you, I have not enjoyed a podcast so much. It's just a warm conversation, and a warm and intelligent conversation, which you don't find that often in podcasts.
Dreamfinders. Episodes drop every other Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher.